Hello. Today we've got part 4 of our May quest to see 200 birds in a month. We'll be up at Lake Michigan, where we'll be at two of my favorite birding spots, Montrose Point in Chicago and the Indiana Dunes in northwest Indiana, both of which border Lake Michigan. So that's the theme for today, Lake Michigan area birding. Got some good ones. Hope you enjoy it. Who would think a place like this would have great birding? It does. On the north side of Chicago, there's a little park jutting out into the lake known as Montrose Point Bird Sanctuary. It's a great place to look for birds. On my big year, I found a bunch of warblers here. The windy weather has me worried about today, though. As I walked from my car to the point, I got my first bird of the day, a pretty barn swallow. In a sandbank near the Lake Michigan shore, the swallows were going nuts. They were bank swallows. What a great omen. I don't see many bank swallows, so I was really happy for these. I got lucky and found a few chimney swifts flying above me. That was a hit or miss proposition on this trip. I'm not sure about this guy. Too spotted for a veery, not spotted enough for a wood thrush. I can't see his tail well, but he looks not gray enough for a Swainson's. I'm gonna go with hermit thrush, I guess. This thrush looks more like I'd expect a Swainson's to look, so I'll go with that. I'm not even going to get into gray cheek thrush. That's probably beyond me. Impid flycatchers are tough for me, but this one let out a few calls, so I was convinced it was at least flycatcher. Another understory skulker I found was this gray catbird. He wasn't singing either. I need some sunlight. You can hear birds singing in the background, but I could stand some more bird songs to help me out. I almost feel guilty about liking common grackles, but they just seem pretty to me. I like them. Look at this spotted sandpiper showing off for the girls. Like most girls, does she appreciate it? No, she just runs away. Here are birds I'm more used to seeing down in Malibu, sanderlings and a ruddy turnstone. There were rumors of a piping plover about, but nobody seemed to find it. Here are a couple lakeshore staples, Caspian terns and ring-billed gulls. This gull confused me a bit. I'm not a gull expert, but I finally think he's just a herring gull. Pretty common. This goldfinch was so pretty, I thought it might be a male. The male goldfinch must have agreed with me. He decided to take a bath to get cleaned up for her. This rose-breasted grosbeak was a little easier to see than the ones I chased around the trees in Peoria yesterday. This cedar waxwing isn't really in a cage, just in a protector for the tree. This ruby-crowned kinglet is looking a little scrawny. She should have spent the winter here in California with me and thousands of her closest relatives. Here's another California winter bird, the white-crowned sparrow. Most have left California by now. Maybe this is one of those. Seems a little out of the way, though. Okay, here's one that some of you might think is fun. There's 4 little birds flitting around in here. There's a Tennessee warbler first, then a female American redstart, followed by the ruby-crowned kinglet, who goes over and sees the white-crowned sparrow. Can you find them all? This palm warbler wasn't hanging out with the other birds in the forest and brush. He prefers the open grass area on the forest edge. Redstarts seem to be the most common bird on the point today, with most being either females or immature males. Finally, I found a mature male redstart, grooming himself to show off the colors that give him his name. I spent time chasing a rumored Canada warbler around. I thought this might be it. When I got home, I started going through that clip frame by frame, and at first I thought I had a mourning warbler, which would be a lifer for me. I was so excited I even called my daughter. I should have waited, though. A later image showed it clearly was the Canada warbler, which I was glad to see, but it wasn't a lifer. There's a lesson in here somewhere. You could probably hear the cardinal on several of these clips, so I should at least do him the courtesy of showing him. The day after Montrose Point, my niece Liz and I went to the Indiana Dunes, which have both state park and national park sections. This is from the state park section. Behind the sand dunes bordering the lake, there's both a marsh and a forested area. I think one of my favorite birds is hiding in that tree. There it is, the yellow-shafted flicker. Not the best photo, but the best I could get with these conditions. To me, they're always pretty. Here we start out with a unmarked yellow warbler, a female, who's joined by a male. When she flies off, you can see the male with his red markings on his chest. This Acadian flycatcher looks a lot like that least flycatcher I showed you previously, but it's a little bigger and with a different call. This gray catbird is carrying a stick. I wonder if she's thinking about making a nest. Seems likely. Blue jays always seem to hide from me, so I was pretty happy to get this pretty lengthy little clip of one. This dunes area has lots of trees that seem to have been damaged by wind or perhaps the wetness, and these pileated woodpeckers just seem to love it. At the other end of the woodpecker size scale is this little female downy woodpecker. Here's a pleasant surprise, a roosting common nighthawk, visible in the daytime. I wish the lighting was a little better, but I'll take it. You can see this Canada warbler a little better than the one yesterday at Montrose Point. No mistaking its identity here. I even got a clear picture of this one, although I would have preferred to capture a little more of that necklace. Here's a great eastern tanager species, the scarlet tanager, one of my favorites. Now one of my mom's favorites, the red-headed woodpecker. She loved it when these guys came to our feeders. If you are patient and have the sound turned up, you can hear this little guy call his pee-wee, eastern wood pewee call. Here's the peewee's larger cousin, the great crested flycatcher. As we were getting ready to head home, we found this female wild turkey grazing near the visitor center. That That was a pleasant surprise. I think I should take a minute and catch you up on how I'm doing so far. I checked my text, and I texted Emily at this point that I was up to 121 birds, but later when I was counting the list, I found I'd missed a couple that I'd gotten used to, I guess, such as Canada goose or white-crowned sparrow, and a couple others that I don't recall exactly. Anyway, let's say I'm up to about 125 at this point. Still a haul to get to 200. Thanks for watching. I'll try to get the Find 200 in May videos out as quickly as I can. It's a lot of work though. Fun work, but time consuming nonetheless. Talk to you soon.